Well, how fitting that we are in the Pensacola tournament in Moscow, defending on this side, the city, the hometown, the heart of Russia, against a foreign enemy, when situation is also dire here in Austria. And I want to take it light. I want to concentrate on the good parts of life and just lend a little bit of power or lend a hand to anybody that is in need of help. Give out solutions, give out ideas, but stay positive inside. This does not work here anymore. This is over. Basically, I'm doing this just to get my mind off reality a little bit and have something else in mind, because everything that is going on around me, it has gone numb. This is a disconnection from reality that is setting in, where you don't want to be connected to reality anymore because you see so many things. And right now, just a few hours ago, our chancellor in Austria announced that the vaccinated are responsible, that the vaccination does not work as effectively as they have said, because they told the lie that with getting 2 shots of vaccination, the pandemic will be over. This is what they told the people in Austria. So now that this promise cannot be met, now that they, after introducing a lockdown for unvaccinated, punishing those responsible, now after they did that, they have to enforce a total lockdown, because it did not help that the unvaccinated were out of society. Obviously, because the percentage of people vaccinated in the total population is roughly the same as people lying in hospital getting intensive care treatment. So you see that this is not a problem of the unvaccinated, since vaccinated people can also spread the virus. And this information is very obscured in Austria. This is just overlooked. They don't address that. They act as if it is over next year, when the rate of people vaccinated is higher. And first they said, well, 50% will be enough now. Then it was 60. Now we are over 2/3, and it doesn't stop. And people in hospital, vaccinated people in hospital, are always roughly in that percentage range of how many people are vaccinated in the entire population. So we see that carelessness and the feeling of being immune, so you are not cautious anymore, scales up roughly the same to the protection by the vaccine. So overall, we are down to zero again, zero progress. The unvaccinated, they know the risk they are taking only for themselves. They also try to assess the risk when they get vaccinated, and they just have made the decision that they don't want that extra protection created by pharma companies. That is not what was promised. It does not make you immune. It does not make you sterile, so you can still spread the virus. Otherwise, this would not be up for debate, right? I'm absolutely sure the vaccination rate would be north of 80%, 85% probably, if it was really like you cannot get it and it's basically done. But not in Austria. In Austria, we say that the unvaccinated are responsible, and this will be the last lockdown. So they put themselves in a situation where they can't admit that they are wrong, and they do it again, because it always works in circles until you hit the wall. And this is the problem that we have here. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? They promise, once again, that the pandemic will be over once vaccination has been forced on anybody, kids, totally unrelated. What's next? Animals? I mean, the animals, they are still overlooked, but hey, those vaccination doses, they have to go away, right? It is absolutely insane what is happening here right now, that somebody, instead of taking the blame for his own position, the position of his parliament party, is blaming part of the society that are not at fault in any way. He even says they took, unfortunately, we tried to educate them, but they did not get it, and they are made the wrong decision. So deciding that you don't take a treatment for yourself that does nothing to society is wrong. Apparently it's wrong. And it's right to not increase hospital capacity in 2 years when you realize the great virus is storming into your country. We let everybody fly in from afar, right? Tourism, we like tourists, we like money. Hey, come in, give me a hug, give me a kiss. It's all good money, right? That's okay. People can now come into the country unvaccinated. They probably still can after they have forced vaccination on their entire population. It doesn't matter. That's okay. You do that. You ignore all the warning signs of the virus. That's okay. But you have to blame somebody. Not one bed in hospital capacity since then. 2 years. That's okay. It's not your responsibility. But now you can use it as an argument, right? You can say, hey, we don't have enough hospital beds. That's so unfortunate. Nothing we can do about that. Nothing we could do who were in charge the entire time. So somebody's got to take the blame. And funny enough, an aristocrat, phony chancellor who's just a placeholder for another guy who is under so much pressure from justice for corruption and all kinds of capital charges. That guy is sitting in the back row now and letting the aristocrat do the dirty work, so maybe he can swoop in later, just so you get the complete picture, because this is hard to understand when you don't know those story pieces, what is going on in another country. This is what you need to realize. Of course, we know nobody informs themselves what is going on in Austria, right? But those are the puzzle pieces. You got an aristocrat who says his intimus, his intimate friend and sponsor and patron. You look at the Wikipedia page. This is what those guys write about themselves. 20 years younger, your patron, 20 years younger than you, and one of your closest friends, that's the guy who takes a step back from being chancellor and puts you forward. Isn't that strange? 20 years older guy, aristocrat, and now putting the pressure on the society and having learned very, very little out of history. So you can see why my mood is not to the best, but I got this off my chest, so let's look at the Panzerkorps game. 9 minutes. I'm gonna upload this separate and then I'm gonna do the rest of the Panzerkorps round 3, the Moscow map. So, see you around.